Welcome to the kitchen sink. We will chat, we will make you think. You will not want to go to the loo. You could miss a lot if you had that poo. Stay and watch and join in. Yeah! Hello! Hello, everyone! Welcome to the kitchen sink. I'm Sarah, and I'm the wrong way round. I'm normally the other side. And this...
Oh.
Yes, that's done it. I did it. And
I'm Lucy Orchard. Hello.
Well done. You know who you are now. Brilliant. So welcome everyone that's watching, either whether that's through Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube's. Or I did say Facebook, didn't I?
Yeah.
Welcome everybody. You will comment, you will join in, and we will put those comments up. We'll all have a bit of a chat and a join in. This week we are treated to an extra What I Learned with Charlie Thomas, and after this week she's going to be coming fortnightly, so that's fantastic. Me and Lucy are going to have a bit of a catch up in a minute. Then we'll have Charlie, and then we're going to do our comedy review, and this week it is a Lily Savage. Live and Outrageous on that was on YouTube, so hopefully you watch that so you can join in. And then we have our fantastic special guest, Priya Hall. That's right, isn't it? I've got the name right.
It is.
It's Priya Hall. Regular watchers of the show, if you're like, oh, Sarah looks a bit rough. It's not because I've been drinking all the beer and booze. I've had a busy day, so I might be a bit crazy, a bit chatty, or just a bit like, so Lucy, tell us about you. Relax. So, can you hear my chair squeaky?
Yeah, just assumed you were breaking wind.
No, my farts are much better, much more spectacular.
I also like the way you're like that. If I do this, does it make a noise? Because how often do you do that during this show?
Is this noisy? Because like in my day job, people might be telling me very important private things, and I'm like, oh yeah. I'm not going, oh yeah, tell me more. But it's like it'll be squeaky. I'll just move a bit and it'll be squeaky. It's really annoying. Anyway, that's Argo for you. Buying cheap shit from Argos. Although if Argos, if you are watching, I do need a desk, so feel free to sponsor us.
Oh, absolutely.
So how are you, Lucy? How's your week been? What's happening? What are you up to? What's going on?
Had a really nice week. I have had a really nice week. And you messaged me and you were like, oh, I might be a bit tired today. And I was thinking, I'm energized. I'm loving life. And about 45 minutes ago, literally life just went, enough of that, Orchard, and just slapped me with tiredness. So I was like, coffee, get me some coffee now.
Yeah. What happened 45 minutes ago? That's my phone. Sorry.
I don't know what. I literally have no idea what.
Yeah. But that's a good sign. As my dad would say, you've been burning a candle both ends, sir. You need to. He doesn't sound like that at all. I don't know why I did that as my dad. But he does go, we've been burning the candle. How does my dad talk? I just spoke to him. Oh, my mum and dad, right? They have their jabs today.
Oh.
Yeah, they've had their jabs. So they are, well, hopefully they'll be okay, or they'll have a terrible reaction and they'll be dead within a week. Hopefully it's the former rather than the latter. Important, is that?
No, it's just I just wanted to check that we were streaming okay on Joke Pit. It looks like we're not.
Oh, loud.
It looks as though another show has decided that this is the best slot for them.
You're joking. How very dare they?
We make Thursday sexy, love. They're all getting on it.
This is our spot. We will see you outside and we'll have a fight, right? And I mean,
it's a wonderful industry. We encourage everybody, but it's not like we haven't been doing this for like how long?
10 months. It feels like 3 years. Feels like
I know. In the nicest possible way. It does feel like 10 years.
Yeah. feels like I can't remember a time when we weren't doing this. But then that's the same as the pandemic, to be honest. It's rumbling on. But
Yeah.
pandemic free. Yeah, so my parents are now inoculated, and they'll be fully inoculated in a few months. Yeah, 3 months, isn't it? 8. Yeah, 3 months. It's a long time to wait for your second one. Another very exciting anecdote from me, Lucy. Thrilling, even more thrilling than my parents are now inoculated, is now. Let me ask you this now, right? How do we feel about calendars?
We buy a calendar from the same shop every single year, and because due to COVID, it shuts early. We're practically in February and we haven't got a calendar. And I swear to God, it's like somebody's just taken one of the hands off the clock. We're just like, what day is it? Are you in work? Am I in work? Should I be in work right now? Just like,
how do I do my appointments? Am I seeing the dentist this year? What is happening? So, yes, I'm the same. You've got to have my calendar. And I decided to take my, and in Wales, if you're listening from anywhere else in the world, this won't make sense, but only in Wales have they decided, our government have gone, right, it wouldn't, Mark Drakeford has gone, oh, see, it wouldn't be fair if all the shops, they've got to close. So to be fair, on the shops that have closed, that are getting government money anyway, to be fair to them, we, the paying public, aren't allowed to buy everything for the shops that are open, and it's right there. Why can't
this is what confuses me. Over here, we've had, people, like bouncers with the clickers, like one in, one out kind of thing. And they've got little arrows on the floor in the supermarkets, and they've got little footprints outside for the queue. And it's a case of go in, keep moving. I mean, you're only going for one thing. That one thing is on the other side of the supermarket, and you've got to slowly Pac-Man your way through every single aisle to just go, that's what I needed. Yes. But I don't understand this whole, if you go in and buy something frivolous, that the world will end. Yeah. It's a shop.
It's a shop. It's there anyway. The shops that are shut are fine. They're getting money anyway. Let me buy the thing. So I'm just like my friend, I won't go, yeah, I will. My friend wanted to buy pants, right? And she's like, it's okay, because round our way, up until a few weeks ago, Sainsbury's, most shops were going, yeah, don't buy essential items, right? Yeah, but we won't shout at you if you do, but don't, because there's an A4 paper sign up asking you not to. But if you did, quite often I didn't know. I bought hair straighteners when I wasn't meant to. I don't know if that's an essential item. I wasn't.
For viewers and listeners of this show, we know that Sarah Bridgman puts that on the essential items list.
Absolutely. And so I didn't know. I went going down to the shops. I'm like, is a calendar an essential item? I think it is.
Yes.
But apparently, books that would keep us entertained, I think that's essential in lockdown. No, according to Mark Drakeford, books are not an essential item. So I didn't know whether I could buy a calendar or not. Turns out I could, but the ones that were left were utter shite. So look what I've had to put up with. This isn't going to work. I've had to now go online. My favourite calendar shop is The Works. It's not allowed to be open, not essential. I would argue it is. However, look at that. Bloody excuse for a calendar. It's an organizer. It's a family organizer. Me as a single woman, the only people I can put up there is me and the cat, and the cat's not doing much, frankly. So I'm trying to make it work for me, and it is cute, but very small, no good. But I also bought, just to see if that would also work, because I like, last year, George Ezra did very well for me, actually. So I've got this one. It's Thank God for Gin. And I've basically, not being funny, I've basically got it for the cartoons. The actual, that bit's no good. It's got to have squares. So what's your favourite?
Well, ours is, for listeners to the podcast, Sarah is holding up a really big one that's got Forever Friends. I think that's a global brand, but it's a family planner, and it's for, like, mummy's doing this on Tuesday, the kids are in swimming on Friday, dad's got to go and do golf and avoid some sort of parental responsibility on the weekend, things like that. And the other one is very long and thin, with some famous cartoons on there, which we would know as Jim. Ours is very long and thin, and it's just kittens.
Oh,
Plain,
that's very nice.
simple kittens, straight up, no mixer. Just give us the cats.
Give us the cats. Well, I've got 2 more coming in the post. So fingers crossed by next week I might have a working calendar.
You've reminded me. I'm going to write this down because we've been meaning to get a calendar, but unfortunately, due to the fact we haven't got a calendar, we've not had anywhere to write it to remind ourselves. It's like a self-perpetuating prophecy.
It's going to get to March or June, and you're going to be like, well, 4 people have missed their birthdays.
You know how I scour all the local forums for stories for my show, for the village update.
Yeah.
So I didn't put this in there, but it did make me giggle quite profusely because everyone was like, if it's lockdown and it's only sort of essential shops, how come the bong shop is open? Right? And there's an estate agent that closed down. Sign is still above the door. I think they really should take their old sign down if it's and what are they called? What are those shops called? It's a bong shop, but they have a different name, don't they? Like I don't know, like a hemp shop or whatever. But it is basically just loads of bongs. Yeah. What they've done is they've gone to cash and carry, bought some like energy drinks, a few Fray Bentos pies, and some sugar, and they've got that in the corner of the shop. Therefore, making them a food retailer. Therefore, making essential, and therefore they have stayed open. Gotta love the entrepreneurs out there. So there are shops that have been shut all the way through lockdown, and these stoners are like, we got some sugar.
Yeah.
we got some sugar.
Can you not see that loaf of bread in the corner? The green mouldy one, yeah, but that's essential food, see? So we have to stay open, isn't it?
Steve, hold up the bread. Hold up the bread. See? He's a grocer.
Yeah, we don't sell bongs. Well, they're ornamental, isn't it? They're just
apparently somebody commented that apparently like their mum had gone in, and can you put your phone on silent?
No, somebody might message me something very important. I'm on a swimming group. They're sending me pictures of sea glass. Yes, I've got that on silent. Sorry.
It's a headshot. Thank you very much. I mean, we learn something new every day. I couldn't remember the phrase. Thank you. But yeah, it's one old dear went in there and tried to buy something because she thought it was a vase, and they had to sort of steer her away from it because it was not a vase. It was clearly just a massive bong. I mean, the fact it was probably in the shape of a skull could have given it
away. Well, yeah. I don't know. It's never appealed to me, a bong, because it's like, do you blow into it? Are you sucking it? Is it like, I always just think, oh my God, am I going to end up with water in my lungs? I just don't fancy it.
It's the fact that it goes through the water and it makes that, and it just makes me think of like sort of, I don't know, Hammer horror movies with the smoke and everything coming up.
Back in the sound of the bubbles, that would be quite fun, but not back in the
20th century. Back when I was a university student, last century, and I was living in Treforest. I lived with a lovely guy from the Isle of Wight who made a bong out of a bucket, and I was like, and he was the most useless, feckless. Honestly, he wouldn't even be good as half a bookend. And he started getting all ingenious, started making this thing with a carrier bag and a bucket. He was like, do you want to go? And I was like, nothing you've created will ever be good for me.
Maybe he was useless because he was smoking out of a bucket.
Yeah, I mean, any science.
It used to be used for washing the car, and now I'm smoking out of it.
It was the only time I ever saw him apply himself. He was quiet for about 10 minutes.
Motivated for something,
stuff. I was like, he's like, what are you making? And he said, a bong. I was like, you could just buy a bong.
I don't think they're very expensive.
Buckets aren't cheap. You probably paid more for the bucket.
But buckets are one of those items. I don't know about you, but I've got like 3 of them. I'm like, where have these come from? I might even have more. Why do I need
there's Richmond with her buckets again. She's a bugger for him.
Did you hear her? showing off with her buckets. 3, she's got them.
Oh, have you heard Sarah Bridgman's got another bucket? This one's orange. Ooh, someone's doing well for themselves.
Showing off with the buckets. Yeah, I'm like, I don't understand why I've got so many. Oh well, some people are just lucky. Hey.
I'm not distracted. I'm just like, why are we not the video on joke bit at the top? Like,
yeah, I was gonna say, okay, I've turned my phone off. Not I'm turning my phone off, but I got the noise down. But maybe you can look at me and listen to me while I'm talking.
Right, okay, I'm putting it down. I'm putting it down, face down, face down. I am all
it's all right.
yours.
It's all right,
I will pick my phone for this though, because there was a little thing in the newspaper that did make me chuckle quite profusely today. And it was the fact. So, do you remember last year when the Hot Water Comedy Club did a rerun of one of their comedy nights, and someone rang the police and said,
"Oh
they're having a comedy gig. They're having a comedy gig," and like 7 riot bands turned up, but it was just a rerun online. Well, yesterday, a woman in Ross-on-Sea, North Wales, right? She was doing an online aerobics class, but because obviously she's got the camera on her, she's got all the disco lights, she's got the pumping music, and she had to say, "Oh, I've got to. Sorry, I'll just stop. Sorry, keep going, everybody. There's somebody at the door banging." 3 policemen came in. "We've been told you've got an aerobics class going on." There's just a woman in lycra going, "That's it.
What?" Stop lifting your legs, Sandra. I'm just going to talk to the police.
Exactly. I do believe we should be vigilant, and if our neighbours are taking an absolute mickey and they got 50,000 people coming and going outside a barbecue, and you're thinking, but you'd Google it first, wouldn't you? If someone's like I think she's got a aerobics class on, but I've not seen anybody go in. There are no cars parked outside.
People are heightened. People are stressed. I nearly decked someone in the supermarket the other day just for leaning over. He did lean over me. It was quiet in the supermarket. He couldn't wait 2 seconds for me to get my grapes. He had to lean. I hate it when they do. They're like half a meter away from you, and they do the lean, and they lean over, and they go, "Oh, sorry," and then and they fuck off, and I'm like, "You will be sorry, mate. The next one day," I'm all in my head, obviously. But I'd love to lamp someone, So I think a bit heightened. No wonder they're like a bit trigger happy on the next door. And has she got on everyone's nerves? Is she slim and pretty? Because that would wind everyone up, wouldn't it? On the close. Finally, we're gonna have that cow now. I think I've been inspired by watching our comedy review person, Lily Savage. We're going to be reviewing her later. But first, a lovely person is frequenting our dining room.
Oh my God! Someone's fingering the beige vol au vents.
I was going to say, what have we got on the platter this week? I had to come in late.
Today we've got mini chicken Kievs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we've got a collection of crudities, and I've got 3 different types of hummus.
3. So with crudities,
in date, out of date, and shoplifted.
Love it. With the crudities, is it carrot shaped as penises?
It's cock-shaped vegetables.
We're here all week. Hi, Ray. Ray Tuna, aka Beach Dragon. Yeah, Ray says if he did lamp someone, no jury would convict. No, but he probably hit me back because I'm not very strong these days. So maybe you won't. But anyway, lovely to see you, Ray. Thanks for joining in. If anyone else is out there and just wants to join in, feel free. Have a comment on whatever we're chatting about. And now and then we might ask questions. Who knows? We just use this as a chance to catch up, really, don't we? But in our dining room, hopefully sampling our crudities and our nicked hummus, we have the fantastic Shani Thomas with...
We don't know much, so Shani's going to tell us what she's learned.
Yay! With a very own intro. Hello, love. How are you, lovely?
I'm good. That's me, that is.
Shani did the picture as well, because I messaged you today. I went, right, if you can do me a few pictures, and I was thinking maybe take a couple of, because you take fantastic photos in like I don't know, a scientist coat or something, and pointing at stuff. But she did one better and created her own cartoon. I'm like, lovely, I'll have that. So we created that intro.
I went on the Reface app.
Yes, that's all the rage, isn't it? Reface app.
So yeah. I think this is where, is this, Lucy, where you got your cover photo from? Of
all of my current photos for the last couple of weeks, even on the comedy page on my profile page, they've all been refaced. And the thing is, I don't know how to use it, but I've got a couple of mates that are long distance lorry drivers that get very bored, and they just send them to me.
Like you've got oh god, it's like the comic book lady. Like you've got a cover photo, like with pigtails.
Yeah, Harley Quinn.
Yes, so that's Reface, right?
Yes.
So I love like Reface. Just like I'm trying to get the other screen to not glare in my glasses. There we are, that'll do. So yeah, I used the Reface app. I thought, oh, I just typed in science and saw what happened. And I found that. I thought, oh, that's cool enough. So I thought that will do. And then I stuck it in Canva then and just wrote internet facts on the bottles.
I just love it. It's cool.
Reface is like my motivational tool for losing weight, because I've got so many videos on my phone of my face on bodies. I could, even if I like was a lower end of a normal BMI and very, very fit and lean, still wouldn't be that body shape. But like, it is still nice to be like, oh, you know, I do look nice, a bit slim. I do like the way that looks, and I do remember how that looks. Love the Reface app. Reface. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I don't pay for it.
I've been getting 2 comments on all the videos I've been uploading recently. So I've got one of me as Guardians of the Galaxy, one of me as Khaleesi from Game of Thrones. At the moment, I'm Sam Neill from Jurassic Park. But I've got absolutely. I did Maleficent. I've got all these, and I get 2 comments. The one will be, "That looks just like you," or the second one was, "How did you get dressed up like that then?" So they can't.
I do worry about people.
Like the Khaleesi one is like in a huge like throne room, and she's got a big dress on, and the hair looks like it was 6,000 pounds in extensions. And they're like,
"Where'd you get out of that?
How did you do that? when did you film that? Is that in the village?" A couple of hours, bit of makeup at the village hall. It was only 20 quid higher.
Yeah, exactly. People are mad, aren't they?
I'm downloading the app as we speak. If it's easy to use, I might do one by the end of the segment where we can share it, if that's doable.
I tried doing it, but I wasn't that good. But my mates Roger and Steve, they're absolutely brilliant at it. So like whenever I sort of like I say I'm having a shit day, next thing I know, I've got a video of me as Ingrid Bergman in Casablanca. I'm like,
oh, well.
I love that. I did use on Instagram, you know, the face filters. And there was one that I liked a bit too much. It was I never used it. I never pretended it was my face, but it was my face, but much slimmer and much more symmetrical and blue eyes. And I was like, oh, I like that. And I'd just be a bit worried that I'd be like, I want to. And you look in the mirror and you're like, ah.
Yeah, like, it definitely did that at first.
Yeah,
definitely did that at first, especially with like people with like really thin arms and things like that. You know, like I've never had arms like that, even as a child.
Yeah.
So yeah, how are you both? You look radiant.
Oh, thank you. I've had a busy day in work, so I am cream crackered, but awful lot of makeup and red in my hair makes a bit of a difference. Thank you.
What about you, Lucy?
I won't lie. I use talcum powder when I think my hair looks a bit greasy on camera. So I had a little light check, and I thought I could do with a bit of talcum powder. Put too much in my hand and gave myself a Malin streak. So I spent the last 10 minutes trying to untalc my head. Because instead of just going sprinkle, 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 I just went Oh, fuck.
Aren't they going to be
Like
stopping making talcum powder?
Carcinogenic
Oh,
rumour, wasn't it?
I'm not doing this.
Keep it like me.
I want you to pay.
Keep it like girls.
Sorry.
No, you don't have to pay. I can't remember how I got it for free. I'll figure it out for you and I'll let you know.
All right.
You can
So
get
maybe-
it for free, and you get a
Watch
certain
ads.
number of templates that you can use.
Yeah.
But I mean,
All right.
I'm on an iPhone. I don't know if it's the same for Android. I never like to speak for other groups.
Other phones are available.
Right, so Shani, what have you learned this week?
Well, this week I learned that. Are we listening, children? This week I learned that a woman experienced a Brazil nut allergy after the allergen was passed to her from her partner's semen during intercourse. The researchers believe this to be the first case of a sexually transmitted allergic reaction.
Oh my God, let me take this in. She got an allergic reaction through the man's semen.
So he'd eaten Brazil nuts.
There was nuts in his nut.
There was nuts. So he'd eaten them, and they tried a bit like breastfeeding logic, I guess, biology-wise. And she had an allergic reaction because he had them.
Oh my God! Wow!
And I'm guessing that, like, it's not because he ate them with his mouth and she had a mouth reaction. I'm guessing it was like a
through
no reaction.
JK. Well, it might have been. I do feel it's a bit early in the night for me to be talking sexual stuff. So apologies, everyone who's got the kids in the background. But yeah, it might have been. You know,
it's the first. Yeah, apparently the first case. And like Lucy said, like in future, she's going to have to say to people, isn't she? Like, oh, just before you climb onto the bed, I do have a bit of an issue with nuts, just to confuse the partner. Like, but I'm naked. And you came on to me.
Or maybe she said she wanted to be filled by a young Brazilian.
ah.
Well, they are big nuts, aren't they? As far as nuts go, they're quite big.
Yeah.
Brazil nuts, the ones that Brazils, they're quite like they're sort of crescent shaped, aren't they? When they're dipped in chocolate.
I thought that they grew dipped in chocolate, according to.
They do look like gonads when they're in their shell as well, like tiny little gonads.
Little
and they got a very hard shell. They're very hard to crack.
I learned another thing as well, and it's like an interactive one. So I'm like a really good teacher. I started watching reels on Instagram, which are usually people's TikToks.
Yes. Oh, I love reels.
And I love it because, like, if you copy the link and post and paste it in the repost app, you can save the video to your phone.
Can you?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And, like, send videos to my mum and stuff. Like today I sent one where people are calling their dogs when their dogs are right next to them, and the dogs are like, yeah, and it's really fun, really cute, but like
that's really what I'm saying. I thought asparagus affecting your pee was bad enough. I heard that apparently, I don't know if this is sorry to go back to the man juice thing, but I heard that apparently does pineapple affect the taste of
the taste apparently, but I think people have to eat a lot of it, like, and if you've got an IBD like me, then you can have bigger problems.
It's a myth perpetuated. I think it's a myth perpetuated by men.
Yeah, because who doesn't like pineapple? Although if I wouldn't be sticking on a man's knob to say pineapple, let's face it.
Is asparagus that turns your pee green?
I think it makes it smell disgusting. It smells as a smell.
Barocca makes it orange.
I'm assuming that Brazil nuts made this lady's wee red because it sounds horrific. Sorry, I'm being so gross today. I'm overtired. So yeah, the thing I learned today on the Save TikTok reel, I learned how to do a model face, and I haven't tried it yet. I thought that I would save it for you guys, and we can all do it together.
Yay.
It's like a 3-step thing.
Right. Okay.
So-
cool. How do we do it? I'm in.
Right.
So this is apparently your model face. Okay. So first, smile without your eyes.
Smile without
Smile-
or smile with?
Smile without your eyes.
Sorry. Hang on.
Yeah. Okay. Smile without your eyes.
Right, ignore her. She's doing the bridge. She's mixing it up with a Paddington hard stare there. Right, come on, Bridgman.
I can't do it at the same time as you guys because I need to give you the instructions.
Right.
So smile without
Hang on. Sorry.
I've got the power to mute this, Shani. If you feel that she's getting unruly, you just tell me. This is your segment.
Right.
No, it's fine.
Right. I'm trying not to use my eyes. Right. I'm smiling without my eyes.
Yeah, smile without your eyes. Raise your eyebrows. I feel like we're being the naughty ones in class. Okay, Lucy, keep going. Stop smiling, but keep your eyebrows up. That's your model face. So let me try it. So smile without your eyes. Raise your eyebrows. Stop smiling. I don't like it. I don't like my model face.
Without your eyes.
Right. Right, let's do it again. But I'm gonna say, let's try and take a screenshot of this, and we'll put it on our Twitter page at the Sync Girls, so that listeners to the podcast can visit the the Twitter feed and have a look at it. So let me just bring us up.
And I got you for screenshots afterwards as well. I always send you screenshots tonight, like a right little nerd.
Oh, in that case, you're in charge of screenshots. Talk us through it again, because I mean, can I also get praise for not being her? Right.
Sorry.
For listeners to the podcast, Shani is talking us through how to do it. Try doing it along with us as you listen. So, step 1: smile without your eyes.
Smile without your eyes.
Right.
Raise your eyebrows. Stop smiling. I stop motion with the Wi-Fi. Hang on. I can't see.
Am I beautiful yet?
I've got a cracking screenshot of you, Sarah. Just like your face is like crumbled with laughter.
Right. Am I gorgeous yet? Am I a model?
My model now. If you be a model, you could.
Let's go to the clothes show and see if we get found.
You know what? You can wear masks. You can wear masks in Tesco. I found that I've noticed that when I'm concentrating, my mouth is open like a moron. Like I'm like
a mouth breather.
Yeah, and I'm so glad I got a mask on. That's how I feel right now. It's like I don't know what is going on.
Got a message come up. I just tried model face. It's a little bit more Santa Ghost serial killer than anything else. Please, if you are listening to this on the podcast, or if you're watching this on catch up, and because obviously when you're doing this now, you're paying attention. But please take a picture of your model face and send it to our Twitter feed at the Sync Girls. I really want to see. I really want to.
I so want to see everyone's model faces.
Maybe this will be our first question to Priya. Can you smile without your eyes?
Maybe that's all of our like cum faces as well. Who knows? The kids are definitely left now.
That's my cum face.
I wouldn't know. It's been so long.
Words gone round. Don't go out with Bridgman.
Going back to the Reface app, I thought I'd just show you this, but my friend sent me this one the other day, and you can actually put your face into pictures. So can you see that?
I was going to say, just isn't taking a photo putting your face into pictures.
That's gorgeous.
It's so it puts it into painting. But the thing is, there is a well.
What's that? A naked lady.
There seems to be me every time I get one. It was like the face is good, but then their boobs are a little bit bigger than mine, and I always feel like, oh, yeah. Look what I could have
I
had.
am going to be comparing your boobs with the reface.
Virtual.
I had a pretty good fit with Miley Cyrus, and honestly, I could catfish. It was such a nice, a nice fit. I could catfish the fuck out of people with this one. Please hold.
Talking of catfishing, a lady of Bristol just recently was a bit concerned. She thinks her boyfriend still had a Tinder profile. So her friend set up a profile to hook him in. It just catfishing, if you're just like a weirdo that sits at home and tries to trick people you don't know, I understand that. But when you catfish like your boyfriend or to try and catch him out, just dump them. I don't understand the effort. Like,
oh,
bad. Big.
That's right.
Podcast.
It's like, oh wow, okay.
Picture this like
really? I that's Miley Cyrus. That's Miley Cyrus with my face superimposed on. But it's like a nice little goal picture, eh?
Well, you look amazing. The best thing about that picture is the face. So you already got the face. No effort required there, Shani.
There's no butterface there.
Butterface. Oh, I don't know. When I was on FaceTime with my cousins too, from 5 o'clock till about 6, and I'm really glad that I specified the time period that I was on with them for. But like I screenshot when they talk because they're so cute. I screenshot a lot, but like there's just so many like unflattering photos of, like, because I'm in the top right because it's FaceTime. I sent my cousin one, and I'm like, I love you guys so much. It's bad, so man. Cute. No money there.
We'll have to let you go in a moment, unless you want to stay for the comedy review.
I want to see Priya as well. I want to see and hear from Priya anyway. So that sounds really defensive. Oh, it's fine. I don't mind. I don't want to go anyway.
No, you can stay. You can stay for the rest of the show if you like, mind.
No, it's fine. I have washing up to do, and I've had a high energy, manic few days. So I'm going to listen to Priya and turn occasionally to have a look. But yeah, I've got.
So what I just heard you say is that, Shani, you've been seeing other sinks.
No. Although I would like to just say one thing before I go, which is the MS Society, MS Cymru, booked me for a comedy gig on Valentine's Day online. So I'll be sharing that on my social media soon. They've done a lot for me, and there's no fee because it's for charity, and I don't usually like to do things for free because my rent isn't made from 380 exposures. But the MS Society is like,
I was going to say exposures.
Done so many things for me. Like, I can't even begin to pay them back. So I'm really happy to do it. I'm actually really chuffed, and they're going to look at making me an ambassador as well. I'm really happy. So I'll be putting that gig on. There's a gin company who's going to, you can order gin to be posted to your home, like cocktails and stuff. And it's going to be a really good night. It's a mixed media night, which, as you know, girls, we shouldn't be doing. But I'm going on first. So nobody has to relearn to listen or anything like that. I'm really excited for it. Really, really excited.
Yeah, brilliant. Wow. Oh, let us know when you've got all the details. Send them to us, and we'll share with all our listeners and viewers and stuff for next couple of weeks. And that sounds really good. And of course, I'm totally free on Valentine's Day, so I might come along. But it sounds awesome.
Okay, thank you for having me again.
Absolute pleasure. A couple of fantastic corkers. We have learned some more stuff this week, so thank you so much.
Good. Yes, very good. All right, throw me out, then. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All right. Bye, Shani.
Shani Back, SIANNY BACH, Shani Back on Twitter for all the details. Thank you so much, my love.
Thank you so much. Bye. I like getting them just when they're halfway through saying bye.
Okay, so this is going to be my new thing where I just Don't smile with my eyes. Smile with my eyes. I don't know. I'm going to be driving along.
It's not working for me. I'm still looking gormless.
I mean, I'd literally just learned how to smize, and now we're being told not to smile with our eyes. It's like, Shani, leave it. Am I doing the smizing? Am I not doing the smizing?
What's smizing? Is that
smizing? Oh my God! Did you not fall down into the cult that was America's Next Top Model?
No.
And Tyra Banks individually, single-handedly invented smiling with your eyes, or as she penned it, smize. See, there's a portmanteau for everything. Ray has said, to be honest, Lucy, it just looks like your screen is frozen. And due to the fact I usually have technical issues, was that
that's probably what has happened half the time. Let's hope it's frozen when you're smiling, so like. Is
it me, or does my screen? I mean, are you the same? Whenever your screen freezes, it's never when you're like.
No.
It's always when you're like.
Yeah.
Like there's a gremlin that's like sat there with a pause button going, nah, she looks alright, she looks alright, she looks a mess, go.
Yeah. Quick, split second. She looks like she's got 10 chins and a bogey coming up her nose. That's the one. That's what we need to freeze her on for 10 minutes. Yeah. Happy days.
Shall we quickly do the review?
Yes, let's do it. Get my notes
do
out.
it. Let's press the button. And I'm so happy. You've done so amazingly with the new fancy titles. So roll VT.
Oh, so which cat was that fell down?
Kitty. K for kitty, K for bed.
So cute. Okay,
yes.
So this was your suggestion. So do you want to introduce it?
So yes, after, I mean, Lily's been one of my favourite comedians for as long as I can remember. But Luke brought her up in conversation slightly, and it just gave me the inspiration that if we because we do a lot of comedy shows, and we have tried to remember that we should be doing stand-up specials. And I thought, well, stand-up and special, there's only one woman that can do that, and that's Lily Savage. So it was the 1995 Garrick Theatre. Live and Outrageous, where it was Lily Savage, where she was joined by a special guest at the end, Bob Down.
Right, yes. Now, if anybody watched it and you want to pip in with your views, now's the time. Please put in your comments and we will, I'll give my pennyworth, and then we will go through and if we have any, we'll go through those as well. So my review of it is, it's brilliant. I love Lily Savage, and I watched her back in the day, and I saw her live in Swansea Grand Theatre. I was 19 years, I was about 18 or 19, and I went with my mum. And I remember there was a joke about blowjobs, and I kind of froze. My mum kind of froze, and we were both a bit like looking at each other like we both think this is hilarious, but by laughing it means we know what a blowjob is. And then we just went and just laughed anyway. And that was the moment I knew that my mum knows what a blowjob is. It's a bit embarrassing. But and I think that I couldn't remember the joke, only just what the subject was. But I think it was, what are you going to do for comic relief? Give Ken Dodd a wank? It might have been that. Or it might have been another one. So I've always loved Lily Savage. I think so. Reviewing this, of course, I think it's so good in terms of she starts off. There's a chorus line. There's an actual chorus line on stage, which is like a nod to the old variety theatre, but also it really livens up there's just put so much energy into the room. Obviously, I don't think she did that every night of that tour. She would have done a tour, and she would have, tested out all the jokes and stuff. And I just think so she would have put that on for that night. Maybe they would have recorded it a few nights and then, spliced together the best bits. That's how they normally do a video for a comedy. But it would have been the early days. Like Eddie Izzard had a comedy video out in the 90s. And of course, the Americans had lots of comedy videos, but they weren't a thing the way they are now. Comedy specials it was a special. It was unusual back then. So I don't know. I couldn't see any cuts. I think it was edited really well. But I love that with her, you know what you're getting. Everyone's got a family member. When women get together, we can be bitchy, we can be gossipy, and it's quite fun. There would have been someone down the Workmen's Club is always like, oh, they say what they think, they tell it as it is, and God help you. My auntie was like that. God help you if you're on the wrong side of her, because she could be really bitchy. And this is what Lily Savage is. She is that amalgamation, larger than life, of all those characters. And Paul O'Grady has said that's what he based it on, is like female family members that he knew that would just be sitting around gossiping like this all day, which is so funny, so brilliant, because I think it's a dying art almost. I just think it's really good. Similar ballpark. So we've mentioned them before. The Over the Garden Wall, the Fanny Lawton and Sissy and Ida. It's very much in that ballpark. She's like their little sister of like, nudging the boob and talking about the neighbours and stuff. But with Lily Savage, it's her gossiping about everyone. And I like how she brings in all the certain audience members. And you just know every night she'd be saying, oh, look at you with your Marks and Spencer's uniform. She would have done that every night. But it's still, when you're in that audience, still hilarious. I actually looked up Paul O'Grady and I thought, where's the inspiration for Lily Savage? Because it would have been so easy, I think, for an act to just rip off old jokes from the old music hall era, because there's certainly lots of characters that they could have. But I'm watching that and I not that I Googled any, not that I would want to. I bet there's a few like familiar jokes in there. Come on, let's face it. They're not the world's most genre breaking jokes in the world, but they work and they're funny. And I think she definitely would have come up enough of her own, in the same way that like Joan Rivers or Kathy Griffin are slagging off, people on the red carpet, but she's like telling about stuff that's more like, oh, look at, characters that every village has got, every town has got, and just does it so well. And my favorite bit is towards the end, she starts talking about the old Coronation Street episodes. Brilliant. Because this is so old. This is from 30 years ago. Bette Lynch, talking about Deirdre Barlow, talking about Betty and the
Betty Turpin, play with a necklace and wobble off.
Yeah. Pop, lovely, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so true. But it's also really nice and nostalgic for those characters, those brilliant characters in Coronation Street. So thank you so much for recommending it. I loved it. So what did you think?
I thought, in my head, I thought it was more risque. I genuinely thought it was more risque than I imagined. But then again, when it came out, I was 14. So that would have been mind-blowingly risque for me. I think Peter Kay has borrowed a lot from her delivery and her method and her performance. Just like even some of the syntax and the joke delivery and stuff. And how, get everybody on the same level, do something about Coronation Street and get everybody laughing, as opposed to doing something quite niche, like what was it Jim Jeffries did about how don't you hate it how the sommelier never offers you the proper wine in the Michelin restaurant, and the whole audience is like, no.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, the fact that she wasn't a drag queen, I think she's a drag act. And it was about the performance and being the variety and treading those boards, bringing out the bloody fox, doing the bolero and the song. And I mean, the dancing on ice at the end, I stood up and applauded, because I'm just like, that's what I want, finale. Thank you.
Yeah. All the bells and whistles, yeah.
I was there like, ooh, my first Edinburgh show. Now, when was the last time somebody ice skated in slippers?
And you'd have to take that away with you every day, mind, in Edinburgh.
But I mean, come on, there's certain lines like, I mean, one of them, my social worker's here tonight. bitch wouldn't take my kids off me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So
he
funny.
looked at me like you'd look at us like what was it? A shit smear on a hotel. What is it when you get a stain on a hotel towel? And I just thought, perfect. There's just, and then her physicality of just like she's very Patricia Routledge. She'll do a line, then she'll drop a face, and that's the punchline.
Yes.
Oh yeah, just really enjoyed it. Hell of a job in it this week. I had to look up Priya, then I had to look up Lily Savage. Then we had to wait looking forward to Shani coming on. I was like, oh God, it's so stressful.
Great show this week. I think you're doing bloody marvellous, even if I do say so myself. And we look like supermodels. Yeah, well done us. Someone else is telling us. Well done us.
So Lily Savage was my suggestion, which means that then it is on. So I did with Maggie last night, throwing you the ball. What's the review going to be, my love?
So I thought, think outside the box a little bit. We've been doing stand-up shows, we've been doing TV series, I thought, and also I was a little bit aware that quite often my suggestions are on Netflix, and not everyone's got Netflix. So it's on the old BBC iPlayer, and they've not only got an Ealing classic comedy, Whiskey Galore.
Oh, I love an Ealing.
Love an Ealing. Yeah, very good surprise face.
No, but I mean, I've got it on DVD and I don't have a lot of DVDs.
Do you know, people are doing this thing called streaming now, Lucy. You can give me DVDs away. It's this newfangled thing.
Oh, I'll be dusting off the Betamax this week.
Hey, you don't have to crank up the old VHS. Don't have to put coal in the back of the old Blu-ray disc player. You can just stream it off BBC iPlayer. Whiskey Galore. It's a classic Ealing comedy. Ealing, I'll give you a little history lesson about Ealing next week. I love them. My favourite film is The Lady Killers, but it's not available on BBC iPlayer, and I could be asked to see if it's on anywhere else that's free. So and I haven't seen. I can't remember a time when I must have seen it at some point, but I can't remember. So I'm looking forward to watching it as if afresh. So have we got the photo to show people?
No.
God damn it. Oh, maybe I didn't show. Did I send it? Maybe I didn't send it. Anyway, it's Whiskey Galore. And it's on BBC iPlayer. It's only an hour and a half, maybe a little bit less, and it's available for the next 16 days. So if you're listening to the podcast, today's the 28th of, that's the one, good girl. If this 28th of January 2021, if you're listening to this in a year's time, it won't be there. In fact, if you listen to this on the 28th of February, it won't be there either. And do we have a 28th of February this year? Yeah, we do. We have one every year, don't we? It's on a leap year that we don't have one.
Brilliant. No, what is Priya going to think of us? Like, I'm talking about Betamax. You've worked out calendars exist.
She's like, this is why I need a bloody calendar. Call that. Oh man. Right. Well, I hear a bit of rustling in our dining room, Lucy.
Yes.
I hope. Do you reckon there were enough? Was it chicken Kiev burgers? Was enough of them?
Yes. And I didn't take all the cling film off the hummus because you know what Shani's like. She just double dips all the time. So we've got the new posh hummus out for Priya as well. So don't worry, it's Shani COVID free.
Oh, lovely. Bit of social distancing. Make sure you've got your mask on in the jostling in the kitchen diner area. In the dining room, we're in the kitchen. Oh, God, Craig, really. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a guest coming up, and we've got intro for our guest, and we do forget in the past.
Yeah.
So we're doing this.
So I'm going to press the VT, and then I'm going to bring Priya in. So wish me luck, everybody. Roll VT.
Special guest time, special guest time, special guest time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Priya Hall! Yay!
Hello. I very much enjoyed your VT. And the little jingle went with it.
I did that, Priya.
It's so catchy. I like it a lot.
Thank
How
you.
are we both?
Oh, hiya, Priya. Ray says, hi, Priya. I'm very well. I haven't seen you in a year. It's been over a year.
Yeah, I haven't changed in any way, shape, or form. You look lovely. It's so nice to see you.
I have changed then. I now look lovely.
You've always looked lovely.
Oh, thank you, Priya. You know me, I like the old fishing for compliments. Oh, God, sorry, Lucy's giving me the face. Priya, this is my friend Lucy.
It's lovely to meet you.
Oh, hiya.
Lucy, Priya.
How are you?
Very well, thank you very much, darling. So glad you're on the show.
Thank you for having me. I've been really excited.
But we're excited. I'm very excited to see you and your cat. Because I've heard a lot about your cat.
He's real mean. He's a real mean boy. I'll grab him a second.
Yeah. So, Lucy, Priya talks a lot about her cat during this set.
Oh, yes, I know.
Look at him!
Oh,
He's so
look
grumpy.
Oh
at
my
that.
God! Look at that! Oh, he's beautiful. He looks so angry. I love it.
He permanently is. And I have to have him in the room when I record things because he doesn't like hearing my voice from another room.
Oh, you don't let me in. She's got friends. That's so cute. Yeah, so the last time I saw you, my lovely, I think I might have been crashing the green room. It was either I was crashing the green room or I was on the bill. I can't remember. But I think it was upstairs in Little Rebel, is that? In Cardiff?
That was ages ago. That can't have been the last time I saw you.
I think it was.
It was. That feels like a million years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I know, it's so long ago.
Pandemic.
Damn you, pandemic. Because I miss everyone. Like, this is one of the reasons we're doing this. Is like, right, how can I get to see everyone? I know.
Yeah.
Let's just put a TV show on.
Like, this is a social event.
Yes. So what have you been up to, my lovely?
Well, same as everyone, staring at the four walls of my flat and quietly going mad. But a bunch of fun stuff as well in between that.
Cool.
I do a podcast now with Layla Navabi and Robin Morgan, which is very silly and fun and keeps me sane week on week.
And it's very funny.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I will admit, I've only heard a snatch of it, a little snippet. Snatch is a weird word, isn't it? Sorry. A little snippet of it, and it's very funny.
It's the best way to listen to it is in small doses because we've probably gone mad while recording it.
Love it. I love it when people I know are going mental online. So much fun. And, you know, I tell you, the other thing that's really funny is normally your hair is much shorter.
Yeah.
All our hair has grown because the hairdresser.
Yeah. It feels really weird. And it's very obvious that I can't be bothered to do anything with my hair, which is why I need to cut it short because otherwise this is what I look like.
Oh, I like it.
No, thank
Bad
you.
thing, love, not a bad thing.
Oh, you keep growing that. Well, do whatever you want. It's your hair.
I mean, crucially, I'm not allowed to do whatever I want on account of the pandemic. So.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, don't go licking lampposts or organising raves. But other than that, yeah. Refrain on the rave throwing. But other than that, do what you want.
What's a 10 grand fine among friends? Be fine.
Oh, I know. It
I
does
know,
make me laugh.
ask Rita Ora.
Has she been fined?
They're looking to take away the license from the restaurant, and apparently they paid the restaurant £5,000 to do it or something. This is all from a paper that I read about 20 seconds before going on tonight. So I was all like trying to like catch it quickly. I was like, "Ooh, all right, go live." It was. I mean, the way they made it sound was like, you know, like they accidentally just bumped into each other. They were like, "Oh, what are you doing here? I didn't oh, Cara, Poppy, why are you here? Is that for me?" But yes, it's a case of they knew what they were doing. Catering takes time to plan, especially in these unprecedented times.
That's true. You don't often accidentally cater something.
No.
No,
It's not
exactly.
like a case of
Bollocks,
please
I
on
just
toast
catered
for
for a wedding.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Priya, I have to jump in.
Okay.
Can I jump in? I listened to, I was driving along today and I was listening to your stand-up, and I have to ask, my mother, God bless her, is a big supporter of my stand-up and comes to all of my gigs. And I can almost see her mouthing along, especially with some of the lines I've got, like, I got one line that's like, "I'm surprised by now I'm not elbow pin dick." And I can see my mother mouthing along going, that's my daughter, right? What you say about your mother and your family during your stand-up. I mean, do they just not come anymore, or do they identify as being related to you, or do they not know? Have you managed to pull the ultimate sort of Kaiser Sose? "Oh, you on TV tonight?" "No." "Is she taking the batteries out of the remote
That's
control?"
not me.
Not me.
It's very tempting. I imagine it's very tempting for my family to pretend that they don't know me. But my mum has seen my stand-up. She's only ever seen me live once, and she got really hammered. So I don't think she really remembers it. But she's seen the BBC thing, and she was like, "It's just an exaggeration, isn't it, for comedy effect?" And I'm like, all of the stories
you're
are
holding
true,
them up.
Mum, so
Yeah,
tell yourself all you need to. I think she quite likes it. Maybe.
Yeah, it's like Greg Davis. He is absolutely rinsed his mother. He wouldn't have had a career if it wasn't for his mother. So maybe same
Sometimes
thing.
you gotta monetize that trauma. That's what you gotta
do. Yeah, absolutely. And right, what you know, you're a young person. You don't know anything else. You know your parents more than you know your mum more than anything.
If she stopped giving me stories, I'd stop telling them on stage.
Yeah, I think I need to go and live with your mum for a bit for some stories.
No one needs that.
Last week we reviewed the London Hughes Netflix special, How to Catch a Dick. Now, if your mother ever complains about how you refer to her in stand-up, pop it on and just be like, "That's what London says about her mother and her grandmother. You're welcome."
Stop complaining or I'll go that far.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a great special.
Yeah. Yeah, we like it as well. Yeah. So you've been doing the podcast. What else have you been doing? What else have you been up to? Because I know it looks like you've been busy stand-up wise.
Yeah, I've been doing a few online gigs. They're weird though. It's a weird vibe. Have you been doing many of them, you guys?
I've done it right. Lucy loves the stand-up gig because online. She did like 11
I was acting cool in front of the guests there. Shut up. I'm sorry, no.
But she's I'm talking about her like she's not here, but you know, yeah, Lucy did she did a course a year ago, and like 11 not mine, by the way. You'd be like, "Oh god, wrote with someone else in Bridge."
A great course.
Thank you very much. And 75% of your future earnings, that's all it costs. And so Lucy did the proper one in London, and then, like, as many people do, got very excited about stand-up, booked like 11 gigs, and then pandemic. So had to do online gigs. I was like, "Oh my god, my social life's gone." Oh, I need to see people. And also back then, rough as.
Yeah.
Doing rough as. And then I'm not saying I was ill mentally or anything, but it oh god, it took a toll, and I was like,
a great start to a sentence, by the way.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, so that's what rough as is on a permanent break. I don't like to say forever, never say die, you know, but Don't put it in your calendar anytime soon. Let's put it that way.
R.I.P. Maybe.
R.I.P. Oh, my father. R.I.P. R.A. That's the name of my next comedy night. So yeah, circling back to the I found online gigs tricky. It's a whole new set of skills that you're learning.
Yeah.
We weren't designed to be this close. This is the equivalent of me standing in front of you with that much space and talking into your face.
In your house as well. It's like, it's weird.
Yeah. And it's like, have I got good lighting? I tell you what, I did do a gig, and Lucy got me this gig, so thank you, Lucy, and I do appreciate it. But it was like the nearest to a pro gig I ever did. It was the Hereford one. Do you remember? Lucy. It was the Hereford one. It was on YouTube. The guy has done an amazing job because he's hosting it like as if you're in a club. He brings you on and you perform. So it means that there is no I will respond to that in a moment, Ray. So there's no audience, no laughter whatsoever. And you have that moment of, I'm standing in my spare room, performing as best I can, and you're just hoping that people are laughing at home. You're imagining the laughter. You've got no idea. You could be just talking to yourself. And, I think as a performer, you need to have it. You want to try and make people laugh. You're doing it for them, guys, but you're also doing it for yourself. Let's face it. So I don't know. It is a bit odd.
It's weird. The lag as well. That in that minute of silence or that moment of silence, I start going really manic because I'm like, I don't know if this is going well or not. So I feel like my vibe in virtual gigs or online gigs is much, much different to my vibe when I'm in person. I've been described as terrifying and intense, and I'm like, fair enough.
That's the brand. Yeah, lean in, I'd say. Go more terrifying. I love
People
it.
will be like, I'm never entering that house in person in my life.
Well, it's a good burglar deterrent.
It's true.
What about you? I will ask Lucy. I do know her opinion of online gigs, but come on, what do you think, Lucy?
Well, for me, I managed 13 gigs. I think this is why the pandemic happened. I did 13 gigs, and then the world just. Kids do like to think they're the centre of the universe. I did 13 gigs, and then there was a coronavirus. And because I didn't want to stop that rhythm, that impetus of trying to perform and write and connect and network and just be in the zone, being a comedian, or be present in the zone, I kept it going. And maybe it's because I don't know better. I've only got those 13 gigs of being on the stage. I do enjoy it. I have went into it. I think that I get really annoyed when people go, I prefer live stand-up. No shit, Sherlock. No one's fucking using online Zoom gigs what was that? Comedy Store in London. I'm really sorry, I'm doing a benefit gig on Zoom. No, I understand. Thanks. Like, they're like, oh yeah, I don't like it, I prefer it. And it's just like, everybody prefers doing real online, real stand-up comedy in a real stand-up comedy club with real fucking people, obviously. But we're doing the Zoom ones because otherwise, even the cats stop talking to us.
I get exactly what you mean. It's better than nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean I will literally do nothing but stare at a wall. So it's got to be better than that.
Yeah.
If all you could drink was squash, no one says, well, I prefer orange juice. Obviously, we'd drink orange juice if we could.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. So, so I need to catch you on some stand-up then. Have you got any lined up?
I'm doing one next week, but I'm not sure. It'll be on my Twitter. I'm not sure what it is. this minute.
You're not sure what your Twitter is, or you're not sure what the gig is?
What the gig is, I've got the name of it, but none of the promo stuff has happened, so I don't know how people access it. Look, I'm very bad at knowing things about myself and what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, Lucy's going to be probably looking for your Twitter account, so we'll put that up.
It's not that we've been doing this now for fucking weeks. She knows exactly what I'm about to do when I do it, and then she knows what I'm typing.
I'm so impressed with the setup of all of this. When the name of the movie you're doing next week came up, I was so impressed. I was like, that's witchcraft. How's it happening so quickly? I think it's quite telling as to how like technophobic I am. And I'm like,
Yeah, I'm very lucky that Lucy has agreed to do this with me. I mean, if it wasn't for online gigs, me and Lucy wouldn't have met. No. I leave that to everyone's own devices, whether that's a good thing or not.
How do you feel about that, though? Life is better for knowing you.
Oh, thank you.
But it is a case of I met Sarah on the virtual Rough As comedy night, and through that we then did this show, and we've had a ridiculous amount of amazing guests who I'm only a newbie. I would never have had a chance to speak or talk or spend time with any of them, and now I'm just like, oh, hi, so and so, and I genuinely, if I bumped into them somewhere, I wouldn't just stand there and go, oh, hi, a comedian. I'd be like,
rinse me, Priya. She's a rinsed me.
Yeah. For contacts, or sweet contacts.
Yeah, she doesn't know how close to the end of the line we are. We'll probably stop doing this in about 3 weeks, because they'll be like, I've literally asked everyone.
I'm out. You have to go back around.
Yeah.
And you'll see like how people have deteriorated throughout lockdown.
Yeah. But we'll be like that sketch show on was it Foot Mitchell and Webb? Was it The End of the World? Don't go outside. Stay in, don't go outside. I have to look that up. I love bringing up references that people are like, oh really? I've never heard of that.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. So one thing I've always been keen to know is, what did you do before comedy?
What I am still currently doing, I work in an admin job in the NHS. Get this, in the team that deals with infectious diseases.
Hey, finally a time to shine.
What a stroke of bad luck.
Oh no. So have you been working through all this then, or are you working from home?
Yeah, so at the start of it, I had to go into the office, and then they realised that's probably not the best. So I'm working from home at the minute.
Often for infectious diseases, really worked out. You shouldn't be going in. Oh,
well. I would say too late, if I'm honest. Yeah.
Working from home. Well, the COVID is out of the petri dish. Does it?
No one's meant to know. Oh God, I hope no one I work with is watching this, because they're like, you should not be saying this. Yeah. Admin is what I do. It's a lot of fun.
I gotta say, I'm quite often, there are days where I'm like, I would just love to do an admin job where all anyone does is give me a pile of admin, just don't talk to me. So I'm just doing admin all day. I do my day job is talking to people a lot of the time, doing a lot of listening. I love it, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it. But some days I'm like, I could just do admin for about a year.
Just switch off the brain.
Yes.
I have this. So it's like, my job, a lot of it is like data entry. It's like really boring, and people complain about it in work, and I'm like, no, don't complain, because this is lovely. You just stick in headphones and completely switch your brain off, and then you sort of wake up 8 hours later. It's great.
Your fingers like still moving. Do you have to listen to anything you want, or do you have to? Because I can't imagine doing that job and you're not allowed to like listen to podcasts. So you're not allowed to listen to the radio.
Yeah, no, you just do what you want, as long as you don't disrupt everyone in the open plan office. But obviously I'm working from home now, so I really disrupt myself.
Your boss isn't going to be ringing going, turn that podcast off.
Yeah. The guy's like, I hate podcasts, turn it off.
I did
So-
used to listen to stand-up specials on Spotify, and I got told off for laughing out loud because open plan offices are a waking nightmare.
I worked in an open plan office once, and this was at the beginning of iPhone era. And a smart back. You wouldn't remember this time, Priya, but back in the day, you had phones we still have smartphones, but back in the day, this was the new smartphones, and maps on a phone was a brand new thing, right? Shut up, Lucy, I'm getting it. And open plan office. And I was going on my phone to see where am I meant to go next, because I was like having to find somewhere. So I'm like, oh, let's have a look at my map on my phone. And I got hauled into the manager's office and told off because she was like, well, everyone's saying you're on the phone all the time. I'm like, yes, I'm looking at my map. Loser. Well, I didn't say it. Well, I should have said it like that because she was the evil manager anyway.
Should have called her a dweeb and then stormed out.
Yeah. Screw you, lady. I look at my phone. I'm a maverick. I'm a maverick office worker. I look at my phone if I want. Yeah, pick up your cards on the way out, love.
I think, in fairness to my office, they understood, like obviously before COVID, that a lot of the work was quite dull and monotonous. So they were like, yeah, stick headphones in, because otherwise, what is there? It's less dull now, obviously, because things have gotten pretty spicy, I would say.
Yes. Yes. Do you think? Well, I won't ask him questions about your job because I'm like, oh, do you think? Listening to my podcast, but I thought we were finding out about comedy.
Like, actually, there's a lot of discussion of COVID.
Yeah. And admin.
That's just it. A lot of people come up to me and they go, oh, I bet you find a lot of stuff you can use in your stand-up during your job, kind of thing. But I suppose with you, it's like, mate, I keep it light. It's a comedy show. I really am not bringing it into the stand-up.
But I've had that conversation so many times. I'm like, the death toll kind of makes it so that none of this is really appropriate.
Yeah. That's why
I can only do a lockdown joke if it's a rule of three.
I love that, like, how I wonder, like, culturally, how other countries, maybe if you're listening to this from other countries, we do get people listening on the podcast from other countries, and I'd love to know, like, that's what I love about the UK, as a nation, whenever there's anything massively going wrong, you go onto Twitter and everyone's taking the piss.
Yeah.
It's just what we do as a UK. That's the only thing that unites us, is that, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and England, is we will take the absolute rip out of whatever's going on. America, I think, is quite serious and a bit like, oh my God, everything's all burning. That's my American accent. Available for voiceover work. I don't know. Australia seems quite strict. So it's like, yeah, let's get rid of COVID.
Yeah, they've been quite good.
Right. New Zealand are up their own arse because they don't have COVID now. Well done, New Zealand. We just take the piss and kill 100,000 people.
I absolutely love that you just described New Zealand as up their own ass.
Screw you, New Zealand, with your perfect. Only 3 people have died.
You think you're better than us? You are, but.
And they're the same size as Wales. They're slightly smaller, 2.5 million there.
Yeah, but people followed the rules there, didn't they?
They did. And also, there were rules to follow early doors.
Yeah.
So this country, everyone was like, yeah, sort of freestyle. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I think it was about July or August, but Rose Matafeo posted a picture of herself back in New Zealand in a restaurant, in a booth with her friends eating a sandwich. And I kept that as like a spirit animal fucking picture. Like whenever I felt really low, this snapshot that Rose took of her friends and her having lunch, like I'd look at it, you'd think it was David Gamdy's latest naked shot or something. I was like, oh God, like to sit at a table, friends in room. Oh, it'll happen again.
It has to. One day. Oh, please.
I hope so. I was listening to a podcast and the doctor was like, it's an American podcast, and America, they were like talking about masks and whether they will have to enforce people wearing masks. And this doctor was like saying, well, it's against our liberties. So whether we're supposed to or not, it's got nothing to do with anyone. If you choose not to wear a mask, it's your civil liberty. but he reckoned, which I thought was bloody crazy, but that's their culture. And, you know, but he reckoned June, July this year. I'm like, oh, okay.
Reckoned
So.
things would open back up in June or July.
Yeah, that was, yeah. It's like, no, you naive man. Yeah, I mean, it is. Yeah, we got to hope, guys. Yeah, fingers crossed that one day.
I just want to be in like a tiny little pub in the middle of nowhere doing comedy. That's all I want.
Oh yeah,
Like 3 people, I'd be fine with that.
And a dog.
And
it's
a
not
dog.
a comedy gig without a dog, isn't it?
There needs to be a dog.
What's been your favourite comedy gig, Priya?
Of like all time?
Yeah, that you've performed in.
I did a gig in a pizza place as part of Mark Oliver does the Belly Laughs gigs in Bristol, and that was like not that long after I'd first started, and Nish Kumar was on, and I love Nish Kumar, and I was like, that was the point where I was like, comedy's great because I will get to watch so much comedy, even if I'm the worst one on the bill, and I was like a little newbie, so I was, yeah, and I loved that one, and it like, driving home from that one felt so good. But they've been like a lot of crazy moments. Like the one I did for the BBC, I was so nervous for that, and the relief I felt after that went okay. Is like unlike anything I've ever felt. That was probably my favorite. What's your favorite been?
My favourite is probably the final at Worcester. Purely because, well, I've got a couple of favourites, but that one purely because I worked for it for 10 years. I think in the end I got through to the final because they were like, oh, let her in. It means that much to her. I won the prize for, well, in my own personal head, prize for entering the most out of anyone. 10 years ago, I finally got to the final. Yeah, I was either semi-final or chucked out. So, and there was no in between. It was either semi-final through on a wild card, or just didn't make it at all. Most of the time I got through. I think there was 1 or 2 years out of the 10 years I thought, screw this, I'm not doing competitions anymore. But I am like a dog with a bone. I'm like, no, I can do this. And the biggest thing, it just took me for the longest time. So you know how chatty I am, and how, why use one word when you can use 50, to explain anything. Editing was my big issue. Can you believe it? Editing. So it took me about 7 years to learn that no, less is more. Edit your damn stuff and don't go off on a tangent, because I love to go off on a tangent, don't I?
Tangents are fun.
So much fun. But I'm not, I think if you're performing to people who've paid 15 quid a ticket, everyone else can do whatever they want, but it's down to you as the performer. But I think, maybe it would be good to plan what I'm doing and not just go on and pretend to be a wrestler and juggle. Which I did do once as a tryout for the Glee Club. and had, people go, ooh.
I adore that. As a plan. I'm just going to go in, trying to be a wrestler and juggle.
As an anecdote, great fun. But as it actually happening, terrifying. I was like, oh man. You're like halfway through and you're like, I can't believe I've wasted this opportunity by pretending to be a wrestler and, going to wrestle people and then juggling. I'd never juggled before. And I had them with me. It was a 10-minute set and I had them with me until I brought out the juggling balls and they went, no, it's a hard pass.
I mean, in fairness.
And the other act had Lloyd Langford headlined.
Okay.
It was one, I think he either opened or he headlined, but he's one of the acts. And there was a lady, I can't remember her name, was on. She was brilliant. So good, I can't remember her name. And Lloyd went, oh, you're very brave, love.
I know.
Here as a comedian, so brave. So luckily, since then, I've done a lot. I've actually done a set and I've done quite well at the Glee other times. So hopefully we could get back on that old bandwagon in about 10 years.
Well, I was just thinking when it opens, it's going to be about 10 years probably.
Yeah, have to scrape through, drag ourselves through the people that depend on comedy for their living. They were like, you can get right out. But yeah, no, that's probably a couple of my favourite ones. How about you, Lucy?
It was my 4th gig, and it was spoken about this with Lou Conrati. When you're based in the middle of nowhere, it is a case of just beg, borrow, and steal, and you end up on more pro bills than you would on open mics because there are no open mics. And I remember sort of messaging the people that I did the course with, and I was like, yeah, 4th gig, and I'm on the same bill as Scott Capuro. And the enjoyment I got out of getting them going, because most of them lived in London, and they don't watch this, so I can fucking say it. They all look down their nose at the Southwest. They're like, oh, I live in London, and I can go to this gig, and I can go to that gig, and there are so many open mics. None of them went to any open mics. I went to fucking loads, and I got onto Scott Capuro on 4 bills.
That's very satisfying.
Yeah, I remember telling a few people, I remember telling Lorna Pritchard, who was doing we should get her on the show. She's so good, doing so well. But I remember the bit when she started, because I've been going longer than everyone, but and she's saying, well, I want to be comedy is my next step. I want it to be my career. And I was like, oh, good luck with that. And now she is. I'm like, God damn it. I haven't clearly not doing something for me. And that something was editing. That was the thing I wasn't doing for many years. But yeah. Thank you so much, Priya. I'm mindful of time. It's nearly 8:30, so we've had you a lot longer than
That's flown.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Before we allow you to leave, because this is, it's not democracy. So first of all, I'd like everybody to know that if you go to I Am Priya Hall, all one word, then you'll be able to just scroll down a little bit, and then you'll find that on Wednesday, the February the 3rd, it is it's called Buffering. Tickets are £2. You've got the link in there, and it's just to let you know what it is that's happening. And you've got previous guests of the show. You've got Jenny Collier, who has been on the Get on the Sink as well, and then Mason Esselt as well. So I mean, that looks like an absolute doozy. And for £2, come on, people, that is ridiculous.
I've promised Robin and Esselt that I will misbehave for that gig. So
awesome. And
Robin's due to come on the Sink as well. So we've he's tied in. And the other thing we always do with our guests before we let them go, and this is where, because women are very good at pushing themselves forward or promoting, so we do it sort of cringy. We're like, would you be able to suggest somebody to come on the show? Do you have, I mean, especially with International Women's Day coming up, have you got any maybe ideas on who we could ask?
For Niche? Would Niche be welcome on, Jonathan?
Yeah, have you got his number? Would he do International Women's Day?
I do not have his number. Can you imagine?
Why not?
So on the spot. Helen Bauer is great. If you could get her on the show.
Fabulous.
She's very, very lovely.
Is she related to Jack?
You could ask her that, and I'm sure she would have.
I'm sure no one's asked her that.
Family gossip for you.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I've had such a nice time.
Oh, great. Thank you, Priya. And we'll probably have you back in a year's time.
I'll be in exactly the same position, just with longer hair.
Yes. It's lovely to see your face. Thank you for spending time with us, and we will see you soon.
See you
soon.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Oh. Oh. Isn't Priya absolutely gorgeous?
I was a little bit nervous because when I watched her on do a stand up, she seemed really slick and professional, and I thought she was going to be also like pow, 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 but she's absolutely adorable. And hey, the longer hair works, love. I wouldn't be too angry about having that haircut at the moment. She's rocking that.
Yeah, really nice. Very, very nice hair. And she's also she's a very, very funny act. So, check her out. Check out her stand-up. She does. She's done quite a few gigs with BBC Sesh. So there'll be stuff online. If you Google Priya Hall, you're bound to find some of her stuff. And watch out for her, because I reckon she's definitely someone who's gonna. She works at it. Yes, so I can imagine her getting an agent and going far. Personally. But there we go. You heard it her first.
I typed in Helen Bauer incorrectly, and she came up as like a CEO of some like multi-corporate nation, and I was like, I don't think this is the one that Priya suggested.
Well, maybe, just maybe, we'll Google it later.
Yeah, we'll Google it. Sorry, it was just like, wow. So just to wrap up, please, everybody follow Priya on I Am Priya Hall. That gig, buffering, looks absolutely amazing.
Absolutely.
I have bought a ticket to a comedy show.
Ooh, I was going to say, what are you doing now? Well, before we go, and we'll talk about your comedy show in a moment. Well, tell us about your comedy show, but I do want to mention, like, Ray's been commenting away there, so it'd be nice to show some of his comments as well.
Go for it.
So, we mentioned New Zealand earlier, and Ray said, if we had done as well as in New Zealand, our death toll would have been 350.
Wow.
Says a lot, and our death toll in Wales is 6,000 at the minute, just over. And he says, I remember you doing your Wrestler Edinburgh pre-show, very sparkly outfit. Lucy would be jealous. Wow. And if you'd seen it post Edinburgh, you would have laughed a lot more. Definitely much more funny. And he said, all the best, Priya, and she's very grounded as well, so authentic and level-headed.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you for joining in. And not that it's mandatory, but we always like it when people join in, don't we?
We do, very much so.
Yeah. So, your comedy show, what are you up to then?
So first of all, I've been booked to host a comedy gig on the 5th of February, but it's in America, so it will be silly o'clock in the morning. But actually, I don't think it's that bad. In fact, I think it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I thought it was going to be 3 o'clock in the morning. So when I found out that it was 1, I was like, yeah, I can do that.
Are you working the next day?
No, it's a Friday.
Yeah, I was going to say, stay off the road.
I was doing all the time zones, and I was thinking I'm going to be knackered the next day. And then I finally realised it was a Friday, and I was like, oh, fuck it, yeah, I can do that.
Awesome.
So that will be it's the quarantine what is it, masked for you, I think it's like social distance for your safety or something like that, but it's George Wagner that I know through that, and he's got 2 female comedians and a non-binary comedian, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, but he had us all in the chat and he realised he'd booked female and non-binary acts and didn't want to host it himself, so asked me to do it. Then he said, what do you want it called? Because I mean, the easy thing would be to say ladies' night, put a pink bow on the top of it or something like that. And we all just said, would you mind just calling it a comedy gig? But the fact he asked was like, wow, it's like somebody's listening.
Yeah. And one day it won't be a big deal.
Yeah, but it was just like, I was so amazed that he sort of he looked at his lineup. He just books the acts. Doesn't matter how it falls. He just books people he finds funny. And when he looked at the listing and he thought, oh, this is quite a special group. I wouldn't feel authentic hosting it. Let me get somebody else in and asking us what we'd like it to be called and how we want it to be presented and promoted and stuff. I just thought. Because when first all that Me Too stuff kicked off, there was a comedian, I can't remember who it was, but her Twitter was the best sort of place to go for it. And one of them was, if you have a load of women on a comedy bill, don't call it fucking ladies' night. If you had an all-male lineup, you wouldn't go guys' night.
Yeah.
So don't call it ladies' night.
Yeah.
So that's that. But I constantly fear wasting money and spending money that I don't have. But Ellis, James and John Robbins are doing an online comedy show and it's only £8.
Ooh. And when's that?
Even though it's this Sunday, tickets are available. I think you just type it in, and the stream will be up for 48 hours. So I know I've got Big Will Small Talk at 10, but this starts at like 7:30. I'll be able to enjoy it before I have to get online. But I just thought, I can't keep telling people to watch my online comedy and not and not watch online comedy. And there are special guests on there, such as Angela Barnes and Jen Brister. Are they watching the show? Are you?
Yeah. Would you like to come on? Yeah.
Yeah, so I just thought, fuck it, I'll treat myself for £8. I'm not gonna be destitute for £8.
Really good. Yeah, Angela Barnes.
There's so many people that watch the COVID arms each week, and the Kiri and Rachel, the live streams of their all killer no filler podcast, and Alice and John have done loads of shows, and then of course you got the Stu Goldsmith, and it all racks up. And I started paying a little bit here, bit of COVID, bit of Stu, and then I thought I can't keep nibbling away at my savings, and I sort of stopped altogether. But then I was like, right.
Yeah. Now and
then, everything in moderation, including moderation. So I'm really looking forward to it. I feel as though I've got a ticket and I'm ready to go out.
Yeah. I had I can't remember what show it was, but I had that. I was watching. I paid to watch a show, and it did. I like, oh, should I get dressed up? And I did. I think it was around Halloween. I think I put on makeup and got dressed up and was like, oh, I'm going to watch a show. And I was in no way, shape or form performing. So I could just relax and, and just be there and enjoy. So, have a lovely time. I might get tickets. I don't know. I might not bother. No, but I saw Ellis James and John Robert. How was that? It was Corcoran. Corky and Ellis James. They did a show. They toured it around some theatres, and it was the community. It's like a social men's club, and it was meant to be. They were like Ellis was like a caretaker of the social club, and Chris Corcoran was the he was like on the committee it was called, and the audience then they were asked to like give their opinions and stuff, and we had to decide on stuff. It's a lot funnier than I'm describing, but it was really good because Chris Corcoran and Ellis James had a really good working relationship as well. And John Robbins and Ellis James are great. They're such good chemistry, aren't they? So really cool. So butter them up and see if they'll come on the sync, right, Lucy?
I don't know how it works, whether or not you're in the room or whether you're purely watching it or whatnot. But I'm really excited. I know that they've had loads of special guests in the past, and to see that Angela Barnes and Jen Brister, I didn't know that they were on there once. It was like a lovely surprise after I bought the ticket. I went, yes. Because John is a big advocate of at least 50% represented on any lineup, which is, good boys, get your ally badge there.
Yeah, oh, they are. And like Ellis James was my MC for my first ever gig.
Yeah.
And he's lovely, such a lovely guy. So, yeah, I know him enough to say hello to, but he won't remember me now. And we're not on the same. We were on the same circuit for a while. There was an open act for a couple of his gigs, and I used to go and watch him a lot. And when I was put on a night with Paul James, who's coming up as a guest soon, we booked Ellis, and it packed the room out. When because he's huge. Obviously, he's from Carmarthen, so he's huge. So like all his family came up, and this was just before he just got big. They get to a point where we booked Sarah Pascoe as well. So Henry Packer and Sarah Pascoe. Henry Packer you might not have heard of, but he's an amazing comedian and writer. And Sarah Pascoe, you probably know her. She's like a comedian. She's quite well known. And we had about 4 people in the room. Just couldn't get people to come and watch them, and that was in Swansea sort of 5-6 years ago. So yeah, but that'll be. When it's just like with Ellis James. Like I said this back in the day, it was like some nights you're like, I don't know if I'm going to pay to watch that gig. I don't know who's on. I don't know if it was any good or whatever. But with Ellis James, you are guaranteed that you're going to have a laugh. He's just such a good comedian. So relaxing. I love that dynamic of John Robbins being a bit uptight and a bit like, Don't.
I think
drag on
that we
Queen.
share a lot of similarities between our pairing and those two because we're not identical, and I like that. I like our differences, and I think, but I think with us, I think we take it in turns to be John, and I think we take it in turns to be Ellis.
I was going to say, am I Alice or John then?
But it depends what time. Do you know what I mean? Like I'll be like, "Ooh, I'll be John," and then the next thing I know, you're John.
Yeah. I do like their radio show. It's funny. Oh my god, look at us rabbiting on. It's 20 to 9.
Right, we've got to go. We've got to head off soon. Last comment from Ray. I still believe that online is here to stay. I was at Ignacio's one last night. He had 3 American comedians on the lineup, and none of them were me. No, and one of them contacted him.
American for a start.
Contacted him, and she saw he was appearing on Locked in a Room with her, and pointed out that I was a mutual friend of both. Oh, you bringing together people. Get me on his gig there. But yes, please, everybody, remember it's BBC iPlayer, Whiskey Galore. I know that if you're an international, speak for a little bit, just 1 second. Whiskey.
Okay, so it's on BBC iPlayer. I don't know what happens if you're international, but it's in Britain. You can access BBC iPlayer, and I think if you're around the world, you're bound to be able to find Whiskey Galore somewhere. But yeah, I'm really looking forward. I've got no idea what it's like as a film, other than it's funny and it's one of my dad's favourites. Maybe I'll watch it with my dad on Sunday afternoon, actually. But he really likes that film. Yeah, it should be good. And also, Lucy, before I forget, can we make sure we play the end credits this week, because we didn't play them last week. Sorry. Can we make sure? Should I go mandatory on us then? Well, enjoy your blinking what's it on Sunday. I haven't got anything on this week. I'm working on Saturday this week. Can you believe it? I got bloody
I don't think I've planned something like this since probably a summer COVID arms. I don't think I've done anything along these lines, and I think it's important if I'm going to make out that everybody should take part on like comedy. I need to put my money where my mouth is.
Yes, and also I think self-care. You've got to do stuff that you enjoy as well. Make the effort to do stuff you enjoy.
Remember how I said this year I'm doing less so I can do more? Like I would never even consider doing this last year, but now I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, good time to watch other things. Brilliant. Good. I'm very pleased. Right. Good luck. Hey, have a good week, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on The Sync this week. Thank you to Ray, who's here to the bitter end. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone else. You haven't talked to us.
And hi to Hugh watching on catch up.
Oh no!
Oh, you did. Oh, bollocks.
I'm so sorry. Oh God! Right. Before we started, I knew I was
Hugh, if you're watching this on catch up, we'll message her and ask her the question.
Oh, sorry. Bye, Hugh. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Well, that was the kitchen sink. Did we make you laugh? Did we make you think? You can now go to the loo. You can treat yourself to that great big poo. And we will see you next week. Yeah! See you next week.